My film opening Curtains of Lies was under the thriller mystery genre. My film has successfully used various conventions to represent the genre successfully. It involves suspense, tension, unpredictable events that keep the audience invested in the content. Camera work, masons, and editing each had a significant role in shaping my film's conventions. Camera work plays an essential role in establishing a film's genre by shaping its overall mood and atmosphere. Through careful shot selection, camera work can direct the viewer's attention to a crucial subject within the frame that portrays the thriller mystery genre. High angles, low angles, close-ups, and point-of-view shots are commonly used in thriller mystery films to raise the stakes. For example, in my film, I made sure to use various types of shots to reflect my genre conventions. For instance, the use of close-ups and medium shots throughout the film was utilized to showcase the teacher struggling to breathe as he was poisoned. Using this shot enabled me to show the audience the teacher's state, allowing them to see what the character is facing. A point-of-view shot was used when Grace was trying to help her teacher by trying to find the cause of the collapse. This added tension and suspense to the scene, as Grace was shaking in the shot, making the action so realistic, reflecting fear. Additionally, the use of multiple shots at the beginning of the film enabled me to show the audience a eerie atmosphere. I used an over-the-shoulder shot to grab the audience's attention on the foam that was on Mr. Smith's mouth, to indicate that he was poisoned, adding sense of realism and unease. One of the medium shots was used to show Grace was scared when she saw the picture behind the curtains that included crime scenes. This shot showed that Grace was trying her best not to show her teacher's hidden evidence that exposed the company, which aligns with the mystery genre, as the audience will want to know the reason behind the poisoning of Mr. Smith and who was behind the brutal crime. When Grace heard the police officers had arrived, she stood in front of the curtains to hide it. In the same shot, the pan right showed how both police officers were tough and strict with her and did not even question her, but made her one of the suspects. These shots enabled my film to be classified as a thriller mystery, as the camera work represents the genre's theme. The set design was another essential aspect that shaped the genre conventions into what they are. It fostered all kinds of emotions, portraying the theme and idea to my audience. Thriller mystery film set design usually mirrors a dark atmosphere to enhance the film's plot. In my film opening, the setting took place within a red photography room that I designed, creating an eerie atmosphere that precisely contributed to the genre conventions and highlighted the tension and suspense that escalated through the room. When it came to my film opening task, it was essential to build unique characters who would be able to represent the mystery thriller genre, as it makes the audience engage with them and it will push them to stand on the victim's side, waiting for justice to be served. This was successfully met with choosing characters like Grace, Gerard, Mr. Smith. Grace, the protagonist, was an intelligent and a strong young lady who was able to connect the dots together and instantly know what to do. For example, when the police arrived at the crime scene, she quickly covered the curtains so they wouldn't see the evidence that Mr. Smith was hiding, and she stayed silent after recognizing that Gerard was the one who was covering up the crime. Gerard was a major character in the film, as he leads the overall plot. The film revolved around injustice and unethical police, so Gerard acted out this part perfectly by making Grace the suspect without even questioning her to hide the crime that the company committed, and he also made his colleague take the decision to arrest Grace so he wouldn't suspect him. Mr. Smith was another victim of the company, as he was planning to expose the truth when they poisoned him. Victims and predators usually lead the storyline in thriller mystery genres, so having both included in my film helped developing the storyline and adding a mysterious enigma. One of the most vital conventions in thriller mystery genre is sound, as it enhances the scene by creating a sense of danger and it gives an unsettling feeling. In my film, I managed to find a suspenseful soundtrack that aligned perfectly with my genre conventions, which established the tension in the scenes and effaced the protagonist's emotional state. Also, I added the soundtrack in key moments, enabling the audience to further immerse themselves in the action, making the content more engaging. In general, I could say my film successfully met the right conventions by heightening the suspense in key moments and reinforcing the theme. For instance, when Grace entered the photography room and saw her teacher lying on the floor, a dark, dramatic soundtrack was added to portray fear and danger. In thriller mystery films, weapons, knives, and sharp objects are frequently used to establish the blurry lines between madness and control. However, in my film, Mr. Smith's death was caused by a poison, not a weapon, to give the film a puzzling narrative. Poison was important as it will be hard for the policeman to recognize who used poison to silence Mr. Smith. Lighting plays a vital role in giving the audience an idea of the genre and theme of the film. In mystery thriller films, low-key lighting is commonly used to evoke tension and suspense. In my case, I utilize low-key lighting along with red lighting as it's the central point in red photography room. Using this technique enabled me to display to the audience this is a photographer's workplace, which gives Mr. Smith a visual representation of who he is. Also, the set design gave off a mysterious feeling that made the audience suspect that a crime might occur. Costumes are another important factor that should be thought out carefully, as they have the power to establish the character's personality and place in the narrative. Costumes also give a hint about the character's motives. In my film, I made sure to choose the costumes in a way that suited the character's roles to enhance the narrative direction. For instance, the protagonist Grace wore fully black outfits since she had to look suspicious to the audience, and the police can have a valid reason to suspect her. Nathan and Jared wore dark blue pants with light blue long-sleeve shirts and hats to look like police officers. Editing also plays a key role in the thriller mystery genre, as it shapes the story and maintains smooth pacing while smoothly transitioning between shots and setting the overall mood. Credits and titles are vital conventions that give the audience a glance at what the film is going to look like, so I carefully selected fonts that were related to my genre and displayed them behind the action happening. I also added sudden cuts at the end of the film, as thriller mystery scenes generally end, to apply the codes and conventions of my genre. My film opening examines multiple issues including injustice, abuse of power, and consumer fraud. The central concept highlights how a society can become problematic when most of the police can get away with crimes and illegal activities. Injustice remains a serious issue in our world, and it's presented in my film when Grace's life was transformed by simply getting involved in a murder that she did not commit. My audience simply getting involved in injustice remains a serious issue in our world, and it was presented in my film when Grace's life was transformed by simply getting involved in a murder that she did not commit. My audience would relate to Grace's situation, as many of them fell into traps made by other individuals in the society to serve their interests. Abuse of power was presented in my film by involving police officers covering up for a skincare company that deceives consumers by selling harmful skincare products. And this is considered a crime. The murder of the teacher in my film was disrupting, as he was killed to be silenced because he was so close to exposing the skincare company. This proves how some societies can become dangerous and unsettled. My film opening successfully represented several social groups, starting with criminals, how a person who works in serving the country betrays his ethics and helps in covering up for companies with unethical business practices. For instance, Jared, the police officer, betrayed his ethics by covering up for the company that was going to be exposed to the public by Teacher Smith. Also, Jared framed Grace because he wants to cover up for the one who murdered the teacher. Victims in society, who might be teachers and students, are the second social group that I have represented in my film, as both Teacher Smith and Grace were victims of the abusers of power. I highlighted the teachers and student relationship in my film by showing Grace's respect and fear for her teacher. Also, teenagers' social groups were shown by including Grace as the protagonist, having her go through the situation at this young age.